Welcome to another episode of Ask Cindy Connector Live. Well, hello. This is Cindy, your host at Ask Cindy Connector Live. Make sure that you go to Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Hit that follow button. And of course, go to YouTube at Ask Cindy Connector Live. You're going to hit the subscribe button. You're going to hit the bell icon to get notified of other awesome videos. And I actually have a gift for you. If you subscribe and you comment on one of my YouTube videos, you'll actually get gifted a 3-night giveaway. And once you do that, take a screenshot and go to 3nightgiveaway.com. So a little bit about me. I am a full-time travel agent and podcaster. If you like to learn a podcast just like this, simply go to StreamYard.com. I do offer a podcast mastery, so you can reach out to me for more information on that. And today, I celebrate every day. I'm an ambassador with National Day Calendar. And today actually is National Space Day. Also, Small Business Week. If you'd like to learn more national days to celebrate, please go to nationaldaycalendar.com. And today I have my friend Deborah Thorne. You want to text Diva to 21,000. How are you, dear?
I am so happy. Small Business Week, huh? I don't know so much about the Space Day, but Small Business Week, yes.
Yeah, all about the Pay It Forward on Pay It Forward Friday. So tell my audience your story and who is the Information Diva?
Okay, the Information Diva. I'm an author, coach, trainer, and speaker, and I love to say the proud host of the Leverage Conference for speakers, authors, and entrepreneurs. Absolutely. It'll be our third edition, and it happens in November. But much like you, Cindy, I am a connector as well. I connect people to people and people to opportunities.
So let's talk about the $2 business solution. What is all that about?
Okay, so the $2 Biz Solution, maybe if I tell a little bit about how it came about, and that'll help our audience understand. Okay, because I am the Information Diva, I always tell people I know a lot of stuff about a lot of things. And part of it is I have a PhD from the School of Hard Knocks, things I've done that you shouldn't have done and messed up.
Same
And I,
here.
okay. And what I do is I spend time teaching my clients how to do things differently. And people often approach me wanting to pick my brain. Okay. Well, that term in and of itself is like, really? But what I decided was there are some basic things that we all want to know, want to learn. And maybe you're not in a space where you're ready to take on a full blown class, or getting a coach is not in your sphere of things that you want to do. But what if you could go online, learn a little something, and walk away? That is the crux of the $2 Biz Solution, which can be found at the $2, the word spelled out, bizsolution.com. So the purpose is that these are classes, individual classes that you go on, you listen to, you get the information, you get a workbook that goes with it. And the whole purpose is to help push entrepreneurs a little bit further on their journey. We all have to realize that it is a journey, and everybody's journey takes different curves, and it takes whatever time it takes. But my thing is, how can I help alleviate some of the learning stress and give you some resources, and just so that you know things don't come for free and you don't pick my brain. The cost is $1.97, which I think is in most people's budgets.
Wow. And so what else are you doing with that?
Well, we're getting ready to launch. My goal was not to launch until we had at least 3 classes complete, and we're hitting that goal this weekend, and so it should go live next week. But if you went to the $2 Biz Solution, you can get on our mailing list, and we'll let you know what's happening. And again, constantly, I'm on the lookout for things that people want to know, need to know, because Many times entrepreneurs are wearing so many hats, they're not really sure what is the most important hat to be wearing at any given time, and how do I get the things done that I need to get done and still be okay, family wise and all that. So, one of the first ones we have is about time management, which I teach is a misnomer because you can't manage time. Time
You know
is
why I'm
what it is.
laughing?
Okay, exactly. So, but you can me manage, so we have some strategies about how to manage, if you will, time for success. So that's one of my favorite ones. That's had to be first, kind of, because it's about setting priorities and getting the things done. Because I have a firm belief that if you've dreamed up something, if something has come into your imagination, you have the ability to do it. It's just whether or not you're willing to put in the effort to get to know about it and understand it
That's what
and
this
to
show
do
is
it.
all about.
Well, that's
Having a
why I'm
dream
here.
and accomplish it. Yes.
Well, absolutely. The crux of my business, I use a system I call ICE: Imagine, Clarify, and Execute. So each one of these workshops within the $2 Biz Solution follows that method. It asks you to imagine, then we clarify what it is about, and then come up with actionable steps for execution.
Wow. So, can you give us some information on, let's say, if someone wants to refer you, what is the best referral for you?
The best referral for me is usually a female entrepreneur. And the reason I say that is I teach women to do business like women, not like men, CEO, not CEO. So, that's kind of where I hit. But I'm looking for women who are wanting primarily to switch from employee to six-figure entrepreneur. And
Mhm.
we use that as the basis, but we start at the very beginning. If you're not generating $50,000 a year in your business, that generally means that there's some foundational things that need to be done. And we even tap on some of that foundation in the $2 Biz Connection solution. How about that? The $2 Biz Solution, so that you understand what it takes to build a foundation so you can have that bigger cash flow or the success that you have determined that you want.
So, what do you think that new small business owners are making mistake at? Why they're not growing in their business?
Well, they kinda get off to a wrong start. The first
Mhm.
thing people traditionally do is go out and buy a business license, buy a website, buy a bunch of business cards, and now I'm in business. No, actually, all you just did was spend some money that could have been spent in another place, okay? So what I encourage people to do, and I would say this to your audience, take a few moments and think, if money and resources were not an issue, what would your business look like? And dare to dream what it is and how big it is, and touch all the senses. If your business was working at its optimum the way you wanted it, what would you see? What would you hear? What would you smell? What would it feel like? Even what would you be tasting? And when you get that clear vision in your head, then what we're going to now do is encourage you to say, okay, what does it take to have that? Because now I know at least where I'm going. Generally speaking, entrepreneurs just know they want to be in business and they like doing a certain thing, haven't figured out who's going to write the check. Because shortly after you determine what you want, you got to figure out who's going to write a check for that. Okay. And one of the mistakes we make is we believe everybody needs our service. Everybody might need it, but trust me, everybody's not going to want it and buy it. So, who are the
Exactly.
people who want what you have, that are capable of writing you the kinds of checks you need them to write? And that's where we start.
So, I want to talk about one of the tips that I've been giving for, I want to say maybe about 10 years,
Okay.
is that a lot of people will reach out, and because you don't want to buy their product or service, they just Nike out of there. They head out, but that's actually a really bad thing to do because we don't know who each other knows. So when we have a no like trust relationship with someone, even if we're not going to buy their product, we believe in them. we should still keep that relationship because we never know who's going to run into what they need. Can you kind of explain that to my audience? Because a lot of people really aren't getting that. If they're not getting what they want, then they move on, but they're not really realizing that you need to nurture that relationship.
Absolutely, which is why I tell people I've learned to say, look, I'm an author, coach, trainer, and speaker. That's what I do. But what I really lean into is I connect people to people and people
Mhm.
to opportunities. And so what a person really wants to help me know is who you are, what you do, why you do it, what's the motivation, what does it look like? Because like you, I've got a pretty good size audience of people who know me. And then I want to be able to connect a person to another person. And again, I agree with you. I had someone say to me, I was sharing with them something I was doing, and
Mhm.
I sent them something to look at, and they said, "Oh, I like that." And I said, "Yeah, let me show you how to do it." "Well, no, you didn't buy my widget, so I'm not interested in yours." And I went,
Oh, that's
"Okay."
bad.
I said, "Okay." I mean, I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah.
But what I think people really need to understand, our networking, and I network 3 to 4 days a week, sometimes several times a day. In your
Mhm.
networking, it is to expand your influence. It is to expand the people that you know. The people in a networking event are not going to buy your product or service. That is not what they came for any more than you came to buy theirs. We came to get to know each other, to find out what people are doing, to find out where we might collaborate, because that's what the whole basis of our conference is. We define leverage as
Mhm.
networking plus collaboration equals opportunity, and that's leverage. So let's talk about Cindy's show. That gives an example of it. Anybody who comes on Ask Cindy Connect Live gets a chance to speak to her audience. And then she, in turn, I'm going to send it out so my audience is going to get to know her. There is so much more we can do together than we can do apart. I got my little corner over here. She's got her little corner over there. And neither one of us is making it big. But when we collaborate and come together, not only does she get to know me and I get to know her, my audience gets to know her, her audience gets to know me, but then the people that they know get to know, because it'll be like, you know what? I was watching Cindy the other day and she had this lady on and she was talking about buying business classes for $2. That's what we need people to do. They're out talking about it. You want people to be involved. And if you allow yourself to be so short sighted, where all you're looking about is someone needs to buy your product or widget. Okay, so they buy the one just to appease, or they even like it. That's the end of it, because you haven't built a relationship, because they don't know why they should know, like, and trust you. And then we say know, like, trust, and remember you. Do you know how many
Exactly.
people, yeah, we come into contact with? What's going to make it memorable? What's going to make people want to have a conversation or want to do business with you? And so that's what I try to help share, because it is one of those hard lessons to learn. Everybody walks around with a handful of business cards. Here, 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 take my business. I have not had business cards probably in 5 years. Okay. It was like, I didn't know what the answer was as I worked out what worked for me, but I knew just shoveling cards wasn't the thing, because I had a desk full of business cards that I wasn't doing anything with.
Mhm. I still have the paper cards, like, when I hand it around, like, Huntington Beach, and then I'll just follow up with the text that has my business card that has all the other like, videos and testimonies and stuff like that. This might be a little off topic, but we have, like, 4 or 5 minutes. I wanna talk about how powerful your why is.
Okay. So let me tell you what my why is, so that people go, okay, so what is it? My why is I am doing, let me get it right, luxury and legacy. Okay, I'm a retired state employee
Mhm.
and getting ready to have a major milestone birthday in a few days. And so, where am I in this stage of life and what do I want to do? So, for me, I've defined luxury. Luxury is being able to take a couple of cruises a year, go somewhere every 90 days or so, and to drive a nice car, live in a nice home with my family. That's luxury to me. I'm not one of those people who need $1 million. I live a very simple life. I like nice things because remember, I am a diva. I like things that sparkle.
Mm-hmm.
However, my life is relatively simple. The legacy piece is I have a grandson who has autism, and I don't know if
Oh,
your audience is aware, but 95% of adults with autism are unemployed. Okay. So my
wow.
legacy to him is let us figure out what kind of business or service can you do at your level with what he's capable of doing that will help him to go forward so that he is always able to take care of himself. And part of my responsibility is help to provide him a place to live. And so my whys are very strong. I know what they are. And that's what your audience really has to know. You have to know why you're doing it. If you are doing it for the money, you better check yourself or you wreck yourself. That is not the answer.
I
Okay.
love that. Say that again.
You better check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay.
Woohoo.
It doesn't work. That's not
Yeah.
how it works. And yeah, it just isn't how it works. There's so much more. And when you can tell the story, when you can tell a convincing story, see, your audience will remember that I said that about my grandson. Okay. And that will help us to go further together. So, yes.
We have a comment. Mary West. Hello, great show, Cindy Lee and Deborah Thorne. I'm excited to have Deborah Thorne speak on my networking Zoom next Tuesday at 1 o'clock.
Yay! And Deborah Thorne is excited to speak because again, the message that I want to bring to people, whether you ever do business with me or not, know what it is that you want. What is it again, if money and resources were not an issue, what would it look like and what does it take for you to get there?
So we have 2 minutes left on the show. Give a tip on why everyone needs to really focus on their why, and also a recap on the two biz solution.
Okay, so focusing on your why is what keeps you going on the days that you don't feel like moving. One of my mentors told me, as a self-employed person, an entrepreneur, you get to choose what days you work. And if you choose not to work a day, that's your choice. He said, just remember 90 days from today when you don't have any money, remember that day you took off and be sure that it was worth it. So the why has to be important. It cannot be about the dollar, the almighty dollar. That's what gets so many people in trouble chasing money. And my father used to say, all money ain't good money. So, chasing money is not the answer. Know why you're in business. And as far as the $2 biz solution, my goal is to have a group of classes that people can take. We're like I said, I didn't want to launch till I had 3 or 4. I got those all set to go. But ultimately, we're going to have 30, 40, who knows how many classes, because I want people to be able to learn from my mistakes, one, and the information that I've gathered through the years. I don't want money to be the reason you didn't succeed when I could kind of, tell you a little bit of something. However, I am in business. And so when I coach, I had somebody ask me one time, do you mentor people? I mentor teenagers all day long. So if you have a teenager that wants to go in business, particularly if it's a girl, put her in touch with me. I will give her my best because those are the people I mentor. Grown people, I coach. And a coaching has a price tag with it. And I'm really clear. But that's what I want people to be about their business. Be clear about what it is you do, why you do it, and what you expect the outcome to be, because each of us gets to define success. And so success for you is different than success for me, and it's all okay. I tell people all the time, just do you.
Well, I want to take just about a half a minute to do some shout outs. Number one, a big shout out to Casey Everhart. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known you, the Information Diva. Dr. Lauren Penn, who's next, I would have known her, and Mary West. I actually spoke yesterday on the power of a podcast, so I'm excited to get that out here in a couple days. You want to do some? Let me do a really quick shout out also for Donna. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have met Donna, and she's coming on my show next month. So thank you for that.
Oh my goodness. Again, that's what I'm trying to let people know. It's your influence. It's who you know and who knows that you know them. And that's how these things grow. I didn't come prepared for the shout out pieces like, okay, who do I shout out? Obviously, you know what? No, I do know who I want to shout out. I want to shout out you, Cindy, because as we
Oh,
had the conversation before we started, I have watched you grow this. Okay. I've watched you put in the time, the effort. So when people see where you end up, you are not an overnight success. You have been working at this, diligently doing the work with a goal in mind, with your why firmly planted as you go forward, not in somebody else's path, your own path.
thank
And
you.
that's what each of us has to do. So you are my major shout out. And you guys, she is always so very generous with her stage. And I thank you so much, Cindy, for being that generous. And I do have to shout out Casey. Hey, Casey. That's it.
And Mary West, what do you
And
have to
Mary,
say about her?
thank you. Absolutely. And Mary West too. But I told you I didn't come prepared for shout outs, but I'll be prepared next time.
Yeah, she has been amazing. I've actually spoke twice, and
Wonderful.
I mean, I'm just so grateful to have met her, and everyone in her group is so phenomenal, and definitely connect with everybody in the group and start connecting to one-on-ones, be a referral person and be the connector.
Absolutely. And I think what people have to understand is as you're meeting people, it isn't about selling your widget or your service. It's about getting to know people and how you can be supportive and acknowledging and supporting the people who will allow you space on their platforms. That is a big deal. So, with that said, I'll do myself a shout out. We have a podcast called the Let's Talk Leverage. And again, we're talking leverage as being networking plus collaboration equals opportunity, and that's leverage. So we want to talk about sharing opportunities. And anybody wants to reach out to me, it's always like over my shoulder. Text Diva to 21,000.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to
Thank
put you in
you.
the green room. I think there's a charcuterie board in there and maybe some champagne.
That sounds good to me. Thank you so much. Thank
I'll
you.
see you in a half a minute. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, awesome, guys. Make sure that you follow the informationdiva.com. And if you head back here, probably in about a half hour or so, I'm going to put her link to the $2 Biz Solution. So as always, I want to express how important it is to live every single day, celebrate every single day. We have the day that we're born and the day that we pass away. What are you doing in between that time? That is called the dash. What are you doing in gratitude? What are you doing just going out there and living life? And of course, what are you doing by giving referrals? Because the more that we refer, that's how you're going to grow your business. So this is Cindy over at Ask Cindy Connector Live. And next, I have my friend Dr. Penn. You got to stay tuned here at 3 o'clock. Shaka, baby.